Hello. I'm trying out some new video angles with my DJ. Like, it's on a really big tripod right now, so everyone be cool. Okay, I'm not used to it being. So this is what is on the docket for today. I was a bridesmaid for the first time ever 2 weeks ago at my friend's wedding. These were my two friends from college who were getting married, so it was just like a really fun time. I got to go to Portland, Oregon. I've never been before, and because it was two people who I went to school with, the wedding was almost like a college reunion, which was really fun. But since it just happened and I have like an idea of the pictures that I want to use for the journal spread and like everything's still fresh, I want to journal like the whole weekend now. Me and the hobonichi have had a tough relationship over the last few months. I'm just like not doing as much like lazy daily journaling as I want to be. All of like the journaling I've done recently has been focused around like days where I'm having a really good time, or I'm doing something with my friends, or I have like a really cute picture I want to put in. And then normal days, I'm like, I'm good. Yeah, I got that covered. I don't need to jot that down. But this wedding was really fun. The weekend was really fun. So let's get into it because I have some stickers and I have some pictures, so we have a lot we can use. Okay, and hello everyone. Welcome to my desk view. Like I said, I was a bridesmaid, so I was in Portland a little bit longer than if I was just going as a regular wedding guest. So I got in on Wednesday. There was really horrendous weather on the East Coast Wednesday in the middle of the day into the evening, so I was honestly really relieved that I happened to have an early flight. I was definitely complaining about it when I had to get up at like 5 in the morning, but it all worked out because a lot of other people in the wedding party were very delayed or had outright cancellations, had to reschedule for the next day, so I was able to miss all that by getting on a flight at 8 a.m. I've been rewatching Rain, so I watched a lot of Rain on both flights in and out of Portland. The first thing that I noticed when I got off the plane was just like how crisp and cool the air was. Even in the airport, it was I felt like I could smell pine needles in the air, and I felt like there was a gentle breeze moving through the baggage claim. Maybe it was just me coming from hot and humid New York, but it was a very welcome change for the few days that I was there. The Ubers were surprisingly still pretty expensive. I don't know why, but I just kind of assume that everywhere would be cheaper than like a Manhattan Uber, but they were actually pretty comparable, probably because I was leaving the airport. So I got on the Max, which is Portland's public transit. My friend who got married, she was saying that it's not as impressive or as robust as it seems when you're leaving the airport. It just happens to leave the airport a lot. But in reality, the Max only arrives at each stop every 15 minutes or so. And I could definitely see, like in the dead of winter, how that would be really annoying to deal with. But it worked out really well just for getting in and out of the city from the airport. This big sticker that I have on this first page here was from a little donut shop that was inside the airport. I think they have a few locations in Portland, but it is a mochi donut company and they are gluten-free and dairy-free, and it was so delicious. I felt so happy to be able to have a donut. I feel like that's one of the gluten-free things that's kind of difficult to find. It's not as common. It reminded me a lot of some of the rice donuts that I had when I was in Korea. So I'm assuming it's like a pretty similar recipe to those. So I got off the plane, I bought a donut, and then I just kind of sat inside of the airport near like the security check-in area just to decompress for a little bit, because also the Portland airport is so beautiful. Everyone who I spoke to at the wedding that weekend who actually lives there was like, oh yeah, you know, they were working on it for so long and it cost a ton of money. So I'm glad that it looks good. So apparently it was like a whole thing. If you're a Portland native, let me know if it was that agonizingly long, because everyone was saying it took forever, but it looks beautiful, so it really paid off in my eyes. I got to the hotel. I was able to check in early, thank God. Everyone was so sweet and accommodating. Like every single hotel staff member that I spoke to was like, oh yeah, don't even worry about it, we'll be able to check you in early, don't stress, yeah, just give us a call. Like and that goes for like everybody that I met in Portland who was like working a service job. Like everyone was so sweet and relaxed. I was traveling alone for the first day, so I definitely was like in desperate need of like wanting to chat with people. So everyone was really chatty, which was nice. Before I even touched down in Portland, I had been looking up like good gluten-free places to go, and I had found this sandwich place that was really close to the hotel, Break Bread. Again, everyone in there was super nice. I had a huge sandwich. I think their bread, like this is like their homemade recipe or something, or they're sourcing it from like some other place in Portland. It was amazing. Like in this video, you can just see that I'm exhausted from traveling and I'm kind of zoning out, but I'm just like
really into the sandwich. Like, I basically was at the mental capacity where all I could do was just like sit and eat this sandwich and try to adjust to my surroundings. Because also, just as like a little lore about myself, I absolutely hate solo traveling. It has never been interesting to me. And for this day, I only was alone for the day up until about 8 p.m. when my friend Sydney came down from Seattle. I just had like, you know, one day or like one afternoon to spend by myself, and I still just, I hate it. I hate it. I will never go on a full solo trip. I don't think I would enjoy a second of it. I don't know why. I just like, I really need someone there with me when I'm traveling. Like, I don't need to be in a big group. I can be with one other person, but I just like, I just can't really have fun. Like, I don't know how to describe it. I can't really relax. Originally, my boyfriend had been planning to come, but his work changed last minute. His schedule changed and he had to bail. So that is why I was alone this day. You know, at least it was only a few hours and then I was able to hang out with my friends. I think I finally got out around 1 or 2 p.m. I had my sandwich and then I just kind of walked around to like random shops. I went to a little crystal store and I bought a pair of earrings that are silver, a silver moon with like a little stone inside. I thought those were super cute. There was a Japanese kitchen and home goods store also in the same area that I just kind of was like looking around in. They had a lot of like really cute glassware and like mugs and ceramic stuff. They had a whole wall of like really fancy teapots. At one point the worker in there came over to everybody in the store and like handed out candy that she had in a basket by the register. Yeah, it was just really nice. And again, very relaxed vibes. The store smelled amazing too. I was like wondering what kind of essential oil they had going on there because it was incredible. I also stopped by the Oregon Historical Society, I believe was the name. It's like a little museum with a gift shop attached. I just went to the gift shop because I just wanted to buy like a Portland sticker and maybe a pin for my collection. Everything was going to close at 5. I was probably getting in there at like 4:30 or 4:45. That's the other thing is that all these stores that I'm mentioning, like everywhere that I went was closing at 5 and I only got out there at 2. So it actually kind of helped because I felt like I didn't need an excuse to go back to the hotel because everything was closing. So after I had my like little jaunt outside, I went back to the hotel. I did a workout. I took a shower. I did some editing that I still had to do. I had room service for the first time ever. I've never had room service at a hotel before. I think I think that might be a lie. I think when I was like 13 or 14, I got hotel room service breakfast. I feel like that might have been like the most of what I've done. It's like I've had a bagel before, but I've never had like a dinner. So I had a kale Caesar salad. It was fine. I did that because I knew that like in 2 days I had to wear a 2-piece outfit and I was like, I don't want to eat anything that's going to make me be bloated. And I get bloated so easily with everything. So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna have a Caesar salad, but it was pretty good. And I got some work done. I watched some more of Rain, and then Sydney arrived around 9. I was so relieved, and we went out to a local bar that was nearby that I think closed at midnight. Like I think they ended up kicking us out of there. Like it was weird. It was everything was just so quiet, and when we were walking down all the streets, like everywhere was dead. I was like, where does everybody? I was like, maybe we were in a section of Portland that is just kind of like offices and buildings, so people weren't really like hanging out there at night after work hours. But yeah, it was very eerily quiet at some points during this wedding weekend. But we had fun. It was like a little Irish pub type thing, and we just gossiped. We haven't seen each other since 2019, which is insane, or maybe 2020. It's just as like it's been so long. These are my college friends, so you know everyone hasn't been together since college. So it's always fun to catch up. And we had a really good time, and we had spicy marges. That was the name of the drink, and they were really, really spicy. Like, I felt like it was burning a hole in my throat the whole time I was drinking it. The next day, Sid and I both woke up hurting, really hurting, honestly, but we had to get up and go to the airport to pick up her boyfriend. So we did that, and then we grabbed some breakfast, and then these days really got away from us. Even if we had just like an afternoon commitment, all of a sudden it'd be time to start getting ready. So right after breakfast, we like headed back to the hotel. I did a really quick workout, and then it was just time to get dressed and do your hair and makeup and get ready to go to the rehearsal. We had a rehearsal at 3 p.m. and it was kind of far away, and the GPS misled us a little bit, so we ended up being late. But thankfully, like, you know, we still got there with a lot of time to spare, and we still got to do the rehearsal. I started to get really nervous during the rehearsal. I don't know why, but weddings make me really nervous before the ceremony. I think because there's such like a high level of rehearsal and planning and like almost theater involved, where it feels like you're kind of putting on a performance and things have to go well, and there's a person who's there to be like, okay, and remember, like, you have to smile and walk this way, and this is gonna happen, and then this one happens, and then when they say this, you're gonna walk back up the aisle, and we're gonna time it to this. Like, all there's so much coordination that goes into it that I kind of knew about from the perspective as a guest, but like I had never been a bridesmaid before, so I was like, oh my gosh, there's so many things we have to keep track of and like think about the performance of it all. Like, it was really nerve-wracking, and I started getting pretty nervous at the rehearsal, which is so absurd because I don't even think my friends who were getting married were nervous or concerned about it at all. Like, they seemed very chill even right before the ceremony. So I just thought that was funny. I don't know what my deal is. Even the first time that I ever went to a wedding for one of my friends, which was 2 years ago, and I was just a guest, I was like sick with anxiety waiting for them to come down the aisle. Why? Why? You know what I mean? Like, that doesn't make any sense. I don't know. I get very emotional around weddings. I get super anxious before the event, and then after a wedding, I'm get like bummed out. I get really, really sad after weddings. I think because there's so much planning involved, just like what you're going to wear and who's going to be there and where you're going to stay and all the traveling and stuff. And then you kind of get like the post-travel slump. And also they're just kind of like emotional times, even if like, you know, I don't know the partner as well as I know like my friend, it still is just like emotional to be there for it. So also what was making me nervous about this wedding in particular was that I had 5-inch heels I was going to be walking down the aisle in, and the ceremony was on grass, so it could have gone really, really badly. Thankfully that didn't happen, but like the entire weekend I was really stressed out about how I was gonna walk down the aisle and not trip in the grass.
I'm a little nervous because I'm worried I'm gonna fall. Hopefully I'm not speaking that into existence. I'm so nervous.
I didn't fall, but you know, just something I was thinking over. The sticker that I used here was the one that I got at the Oregon Historical Society, and I also bought a little Oregon pin. I need to find a way to organize my pins that I get from my travels. Like I kind of thought I wanted to do like a big map and like stick the pin where it came from, but I have I have a lot that are from the US, but then I do have some that are global. So it's like I don't know how to find like a map that would be sized where that would actually work. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's always been one of my ideas for like putting that collection all together. I think if we had a magnetic fridge, I would definitely be a fridge magnet person. I was thinking that. I was just at the Museum of Natural History with my boyfriend, and they had like this whole kind of like kitschy magnet section, and I was like, ugh, I wish our fridge was magnetic, but it's not. All of the stuff that we have, like we have a bunch of wedding invites on the fridge now actually, and we have to tape all of them on, and they always fall off. So just a bummer. By the time that we got to the rehearsal dinner, it wasn't just, you know, me and Sid and her boyfriend anymore. We had kind of collected a group of our friends from college. We were all in the same theater group, and we were dying laughing at like the dumbest things all dinner long. That's like what I remember about being in that group in college, is just that we would make each other laugh so much. So it was so nice to kind of like be back in that mode for a second. Everyone just has really great chemistry with each other. So it was a really, really nice time just to sit with them for the rehearsal dinner. And the food was really good. I had like a little salmon dish with this whole green sauce thing going on. I don't know what the sauce was, but it was really, really great. And we had some sangria. There were a bunch of other fun cocktails on the menu. Everyone had wine. And then after the dinner, our little group headed up to the hotel rooftop bar just to kind of like sit and chat for a while until we also got kicked out of there at like 11:30 midnight. Everything in Portland was closing at midnight on a weekday, so we kept getting kicked out of places, but it was really fun to see everybody. Okay, so we have gotten to the first start of the official wedding weekend. These are some printouts from the weekend, plus some extras that I just printed out to use the extra space on the paper. I recently updated Pages on my Mac, and now it has the ability to like remove the background of photos for you and give it a really clean border, which is so helpful because I have been manually removing the backgrounds in Pages for the last 5 or 6 years that I've been journaling. So Friday was the Indian dinner. My friend, I think on the official list of events, called it the big fat Indian wedding night. So they had some traditional ceremonies and then they had a buffet. The venue was at a local theater, which was very cool. Everyone came in Indian attire. I was really surprised at how many people wanted to dress for the event. Like, I feel like there were definitely more women in lehengas than like women in Western clothing. It was really, really cool to see everybody, and everyone looked really great. It's such like a complimentary shape on a lot of different bodies, I think. Yeah, I was so happy that I had the rental from the place in Manhattan, like so relieved. And I only put it on in March when I went to the store, so I hadn't put it on since then, and I was so nervous that it was not gonna fit. Also, all of the attire comes with a dupatta that like matches the color of your outfit, and one of my aunties helped me drape it and pin it around me in the correct fashion, which was very sweet of her. And everything was like closed pinned on, so I didn't have to worry about it like moving throughout the night. I honestly wish we could have had more time at this venue. This night ended really surprisingly early. You know, we had dinner. Me and my table went to go to the bathroom. It probably took us like 5 minutes in the bathroom just because there's only one stall that was in use, and we had all these like layers on and things we had to be careful of. We went outside to take pictures. That was probably another 5 minutes. We come back in. We're like, okay, we're gonna grab a drink at the bar. That's 5 minutes. So this whole thing has been like 15 minutes. And then all of a sudden, I turned to my friend. I'm like, okay, like, well, there's gonna be like an hour of dancing, and then we're gonna blah 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 blah. And he was like, what do you mean? Like, the venue closes in 20 minutes. So we got to dance to like one song. It ended so weirdly early. The night just got away from us. I don't know. I guess it was like mostly a dinner and then like a very, very brief stint of dancing. But everyone was like, no, we love our outfits. We don't want to go home yet. It's so early. So we went to another bar called Foxtrot. Someone recommended that. I think actually my friend's boyfriend's friend who grew up in Portland recommended it to us. So we went there, and it was outdoor, and the weather was beautiful that weekend. So it was like nice to just kind of be somewhere that was outdoor. And then we went through the Taco Bell drive-thru on the way home. What more can you ask for? And can I say, some of the best Taco Bell I've ever had. Like a really spectacular showing from the local Portland Taco Bell. So, you know, perfect end to the night. Also, this disco ball sticker that's on the top right came from the bride. She put these in our like tote bags. It also had our pajamas for the like hair and makeup morning, which was very sweet. This glue stick that I'm using, this is a glue stick I've had since 2017 that I got during study abroad in Prague. I have been using it forever. I think somewhere on this channel in a 2021 or a 2022 video, I say, this is like my last time using my Prague glue stick. It's on its last legs. And then it just like I continued to use it anyway. It just has never run out. This was the last time though. As you can tell, I'm kind of like battling the glue stick. It's like it's so adhesive. Like it's really great quality, but it means that like now that there's barely anything left and I have to press the picture into the glue stick, I have to like rip it away, which is, you know, not helpful. So this is probably the last time that I use it, but I'll be sad to see it go because it has served me well for almost 10 years, which is crazy. Okay, so now we are at the actual day of the wedding. This was so exciting. I woke up really early. I think we got back from being out the night before at like 2 or 3 in the morning, and per the hairstylist instructions, I had to wash and dry my hair in the hotel, like that night. So I did not get to bed until like 3:30. I felt so bad because I was sharing my hotel room with my friend, and she had gone home early. She hadn't come out to the bar with us, and she's not in the bridal party, so she did not have to get up at 7 a.m. like I did. But I had to wash and dry my hair in this like itty bitty hotel room, and I was so worried I was gonna wake her up. But in the morning, she said she didn't hear a thing because she was like so dead to the world, exhausted. So that was good. But our hair and makeup situation was from like 8 a.m. to 2:30 p.m., which I had no idea. I had no idea that is how long the process is getting ready when you're a bridesmaid. It makes sense now, like seeing the schedule. And I even said that to the like lead hair and makeup girl, that when I first saw the schedule, I was like, how are we going to fill all that time? But then you realize like it really just does take that long. But we all were ahead of schedule. Like they were saying that we were like really, really on top of it, which was good, that they even had time to do touch-ups at the end, because I had to do a touch-up at the end because the first girl who did my hair did like a really cute blowout on me, but my hair is just really thin and doesn't hold a blowout very well. So it like really quickly fell out and my hair just looked like really loose and kind of scraggly. So the lead girl went back in and then curled it for me, which was really nice. The one thing that was a bummer was that we had created like this whole curated Spotify playlist and then we forgot a speaker. So we couldn't play anything. And the hotel TV only connected to a Pandora radio. So if you're watching this and you have a wedding coming up that you're a bridesmaid for, make sure someone has a speaker, because that completely like slipped our minds and we paid for it because those Pandora radio stations are brutal. The things that they're putting on Pandora these days, brutal. It's like non-copyright versions of everything. Like we jokingly put on the Broadway channel because, you know, most of us met in theater, and it was like at one point they were like, oh, they're playing Grease, right? They're playing a song from Grease, but it's not like the movie or a theater, like a Broadway cast. It was the live version, the version from the live show that they did a few years ago. Why that one? Because it's cheaper. Like, you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? So it was just like weird. Like all the music was like knockoff versions of the songs on every channel. So yeah, definitely will be. I'm bringing a speaker to France because I don't trust them to have a speaker for us. Again, I get my hair and makeup done. I put my dress on. I put my big tall heels on. I get to the venue. I'm sick with nerves, so anxious. We're like lined up getting ready to walk down the aisle and I'm having to do deep slow breaths. I was the third person to walk. It was the officiant and then the first guy from the other wedding party and then me. I was like literally shaking in my boots and we had to walk so far and kind of into the sun too because it was like becoming golden hour. Oh my god, we haven't seen the pictures yet from anything, but like the photographer was at the head of the aisle taking pictures of us as we walked down, and the girl was literally like, make sure you smile and like take your time going down the aisle because like this is your moment to get those like solo pictures of yourself. I was so focused and stressed out. I think I'm probably grimacing in every picture of me going down the aisle. I tried really, really hard. Also, we didn't have bouquets. We had corsages on our wrist. So we kind of like walked in front with our hands clasped. And I think that made it hard to balance as well too. I mean, obviously you don't want to swing your arms, but like with a bouquet, you kind of can like, I feel like you could hold it out a little bit and like help with your balance. But walking with your arms clasped, and I was in a really long dress, it was just a lot. It was a lot to think about. In hindsight, I should have had my dress hemmed and just worn shorter heels. And now I know, but I was being like way too lazy about it. And I've never done it before. Okay. I don't know. I didn't realize that like you buy like a full length gown and then you hem it. I just was like, oh, I'll wear high heels because this is long. I don't know. I don't know why I didn't think of that. Everyone else thought of it. But yeah, very beautiful ceremony. The weather was genuinely perfect. So perfect. The first wedding that I went to in 2024, they had an outdoor ceremony and it was so hot, sweltering hot. We had like the fans with the sticks on it and everything. But for this, the weather was absolutely perfect. Like perfect. Once we finally got back up the aisle, like after we were done with the ceremony, I felt so relieved. I know I keep saying this, but I was so stressed. Like we were sitting in, I want to call it the green room, but it wasn't the green room. But we were sitting in kind of like the private suite area before we walked down, watching all the guests pull up through the window and go to the seating area. And I was like, I'm sick. I'm sick to my stomach. I can't even look at them. That's definitely like a theater holdover thing. It didn't help that like all the people I was there with were people that the last time I did theater I was with. It's definitely kind of, I like Pavloved myself into being really nervous, but it all went well. It went beautifully, spectacularly. Then we had a really nice cocktail hour and I got to catch up with all my friends who I hadn't seen or who had just come the night before. And it was just so fun. The whole wedding was so fun. It makes me like bummed out. I want to be like, let's do another one, you guys. Can someone else in the friend group get married, please? I love hanging out with my friends, especially people who live so far away. Like, when else do you really see them? This dinner was also a buffet style. I really like the buffet style. I think it's kind of easy for everybody to deal with and people can pick what they want to have or if they want to have more. I didn't eat like a ton this day. There's just a lot of like running around and like you having coffee in the morning or getting your face done. And then I'm getting like put into this little tiny dress and really, really high heels. And I'm like not feeling hungry. And even though I was like ravenous by the time the dinner came out, I had a few bites and I just immediately started to feel sick. I think just because like I was so tired. I was not sleeping this weekend. We were getting back really late and getting up really early every day. And then we would have like one thing to do in the morning and then go back to the hotel, immediately get ready for an event and then go out. Because even for Friday, we had like a morning tea at the bride's home. So like that was our morning plan. Then we had to come back and just like immediately get ready to go to the Indian dinner. So it was just like, it's a lot of back and forth. And I think by the end of the night, I was like really feeling it. But it all went off without a hitch, ended very smoothly. They did not a sparkler send-off, a fairy wand send-off with like ribbons or lights on it or something, because West Coast and wildfires, it's not good. The 2 other weddings that I've been to were sparkler send-offs, but it makes sense that you wouldn't do it anywhere near California or on the West Coast. It genuinely was very surreal to watch my friends get married. I've, known them for about 10 years. They've been together for more than half of that. This wedding was announced like really, really far in advance. Like they knew that they were going to have a long engagement. So it's like always kind of felt like it's been coming down the road for so long now. And my friend who's getting married in August was also in the Cedar group with us. But that's a destination wedding. So the guest list is like really small. Very different people, a lot of family at that wedding. It's still going to be really fun though. I'm very excited. But this one was just nice to kind of see everybody who I haven't seen in so long. Again, very emotionally draining by the time I got up and like left for my flight. I think I like left the hotel early, like much earlier than I needed to, but I was like, I just don't want to sit in here anymore. Like I'm emotionally drained. I want to go home. So I think I just like went and I had breakfast at the airport and I just kind of like sat and zoned out. Again, just me zoning out in the airport, having a meal was kind of the theme of the weekend. And that flight back, that time difference like really gets you. Like I left the hotel maybe around 8:45, 9 a.m. And then I didn't get home until 10:30, 11 p.m., which is crazy. I had a really quick layover in Minneapolis, but like it like literally we touched down, I get off the plane, I walk to the next gate, I get on the plane, we take off. Like there was no waiting around or anything. But it eats away at your day. And then I think that night I slept for 11 hours. Just like had to catch up on everything all at once. I was like, let me just get out of the way. I'll get like a day and a half in of sleep here. I don't care. I was motivated to use these letter stickers at the bottom here, but I fear that I kind of made it look like a hostage letter, So I don't know if I really agree with the effect that this had on the visuals, but I think it's fine. You live and you learn. But that was my first wedding experience as a bridesmaid. I had so much fun. I'm really excited to do it all again in August. If you've made it this far in the video, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.